Live from the G&D Show studio, this is your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show.
Doesn't that sound exciting to you?
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only mystifying Oracle Radio. That's right, this is your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show, Demon Hunter!
No, Debbie, it's okay. He can't hear me till I hit this button here.
Button!
Oh, no!
We're live on air. Hey, brother, special thanks, Shadow Nation, to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher, Smart Radio, Planet Paranormal, Action Audio Apps. Hey, are you listening? They want to know, so check them out at actionaudioapps.com. Our Canadian buddies, Paranormal A Radio, thanks so much, guys, for being so cool. Yeah, big show tonight, Nathan.
Like that.
Big show tonight, man.
Yes.
As the snow melts from beneath
Thank
our
goodness.
feet. Oh my God. It is flooding here, guys. Literally. Okay. Here in Indianapolis, we've been getting pounded. In beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana, for the last couple weeks. And this week, it's on the rise. They said a high of 55 by Wednesday, and it is a slush pit outside, brother. Oh, it's nasty. It's just so bad you can't even stand up out in the yard, man. I ran out to take the trash out, and the pound and a half of kitty duty from the kitty diaper bin that we have.
Yes.
Stuff hardens like cement, man. Do you have one of those for your cat?
The litter boxes, of course.
Yeah, because you guys have like 30, don't you?
We have 3 cats.
33. I was close. Yeah.
Times
anyway.
by 10, and
That's it. That is it, man. So what's going on around the world, Shadow Nation? Hope everybody had a good week. Hope everybody's doing great. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight in our humble little studio.
for those of you who didn't join us, well, listen later on Archive.
Yes, it seems to be a pattern for you guys. We do not understand this. We go out, our numbers are through the roof on most networks, but on Sunday night when we're going out live, you guys just aren't tuning in.
What is on television that's competing with us?
Yeah, what is on television? It's 7:03, Nathan. Maybe it's our old TV show airing.
That could be. I haven't seen that for a while. I should watch that again. Although the kids who work for me, they say every Halloween they play it.
They play it over and over.
They watch it just so they can laugh at me, I guess. I don't know. I look at them and say, hey, how many of you have ever trudged through the swamps of Louisiana to raise the dead?
You know, I never realized. It must have been the stress of Hollywood, how fat I got while we were out there. I think I swelled up. Man, I was only like 210 when we started there. I think I was like 250 when we got done filming.
It was all that good food. I told you, Sean. I loved the craft services truck.
Then as soon as it was done, I lost, weight, and away we went.
Well, it was funny because,
crazy.
I'm not a crazy guy about going out and exercising. I spend more time in meditation than in exercising. And I remember my mother watched the TV show.
You don't
and
meditate.
She said, were you wearing like a girdle or something?
To the Batmobile.
I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, well, you've got no stomach in that. You actually look really fit.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks,
Scotty,
Mom.
beat me
I
up.
only worked out for 2 months to get in that condition.
Right. You look
I appreciate
sickly.
it.
You look
Scotty,
sickly.
beat me up.
Yeah. Scotty was beaming you up, I think. I don't know.
I needed the Captain Kirk girdle after that, I guess. So you lost the weight, I put it on.
Yeah. Yeah, you put on my winter weight, but at least you look good during filming. That's what's important.
Yes. The tattoos looked fabulous, by the way, Sean. Whoever drew those on for you every day looked good.
My fake tattoos. Remember, they were going to make me cover up the tattoos, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, are you guys kidding me?
They wanted you to wear that Under Armour or whatever to cover them up.
Yeah, I probably should have. Probably would have been cooler out in the swamps in June. Or
Yeah,
April.
that would have been good for you, wearing long johns in the middle of the swamps.
Yeah. Hey, Nathan, I was reading this week on Facebook. I know it's hard to believe I was reading. And I seen this.
I doubt it.
I seen this
okay.
article. Come up. Very strange. We've covered
Scotty,
it before.
beat me up.
I think.
Was it on one of the advertisements for how to get women to notice you kind of thing?
How to please your women? No, it was the is 11/11 happening to you too? 11:11.
11:11?
Yeah, talking about the time, and I thought since, time rolled forward, guys, if you don't remember that, set your clocks 1 hour forward. It changed last night at midnight.
Yes, well, that's an amazing story in itself, Sean. Alien abduction reports are through the roof. At least, 5 million people reported losing an hour last night. And just out of the blue, they started calling in saying,
Scott,
I was
beam me
watching TV, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what happened.
We should have tried that. We should just call it in for Pete's sake. And like, dude, I was, watching TV, and we should have did it. We joke, but I bet there was a bunch of people did that.
You really think somebody just didn't know, Sean?
I don't know. We should Google that, though. We should Google that and see if there was a bunch of people calling last night saying, listen, 911, I've lost so much time, and the truth is out there. Set your clocks forward, people, or the aliens will do it for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as they're done with their probes.
Yeah, as soon as they're done giving you a good, thorough probing. Anyway, 11:11, Nathan. We've covered this before on the show. Rubber baby bumper.
Rubber baby bumper. I had it perfect earlier.
Rubber baby bumper. We're testing the lips, guys, before we read
Rubber
this.
baby bumper. Rubber baby.
Rubber. You're not going to do it no more?
Maybe.
Mama. So anyway, is 11:11 happening to you?
Rubber baby buggy bumper.
This came out on March 7th, so it's recent yesterday. Imagine waking up exactly the same time, moment, night after night. For years, seeing the same time appear on the alarm clock beside your bed. For those who experience this strange occurrence, their first thoughts might be that it was random chance or simply the product of an overactive imagination. But is it? Question mark.
I don't know.
Well, let's continue. Is there perhaps a hidden message, Shadow Nation, that is encoded within these mysterious events? It is most assuredly not their imagination, Nate. Causing them to awaken at exactly 11:11 p.m. each night. Now, is that 11:11 Eastern Time, Standard, Pacific? Does it matter? Each night, or to see 11:11 appear on digital readouts, watch faces, billboards, signs, and even calculators. The time prompt phenomena is real. It is happening to people all over the world, Nate.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The significance of 11:11 may be linked to the coming year of the coming year of 2012. This story just came out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, brother, but aren't we in the year 2015?
The last time I checked, I think somebody sent you a story of old news, Sean.
Yeah, this just came out on March 7th, 2015. It says it's most assuredly not their imagination causing them to awaken at exactly 11:11 p.m. each night, or to see 11:11 blah, blah, blah. The significance is perhaps because we're upon the year of 2012, when some scholars believe that the exact moment of transformation predicted in the Mayan calendar and prophesied by the Hopi and Hindu, and even the Bible itself, will occur at 11:11 a.m. GMT.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Also says junk DNA. The approximately 97% of our non-coding DNA will somehow be responsible for triggering the spiritually awakened state of consciousness.
Oh, no.
Guess it hasn't worked yet.
No.
Because
last time I checked, I wasn't conscious at all.
Because people are sending stories from 2012. So apparently we're not conscious as to what we're doing, guys. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Oh, wow.
That was helpful. Next time, check the date.
Thank you so much for that story. Anyway, it's crazy. Hey, have you heard about this film I seen that was out there? And it's called A Genesis Found. And you can get it off Amazon. I think that's the only place they put it out there. And that's the name of it, A Genesis Found.
I have not heard about that.
Well, it's an archaeological student.
Rubber baby buggy bumper.
Archaeological student. Archaeological student traces clues left by his grandfather that may lead to humanity's most terrible secrets. It was directed by Lee Fanning. Anyway, it came out in 2010, but they didn't release it until here recently. It was by Wonder Mill Films. Wonder Mill Films. Look it up, guys. It's interesting because it talks about Nephilim. Huh?
Oh, does it?
We've had some good friends of the show on that actually go out and look for Nephilim. What is the Nephilim, Nathan? Go ahead, explain it.
The Nephilim is the offspring of an angel and a human.
Oh!
As quoted from the Bible, what are the sons of God doing laying with the daughters of man?
What are they doing?
And the Nephilim were born, and there were giants in the earth.
Yeah, what are they doing?
That's bits and pieces.
We got it. Well, I think we
You got the general idea there, Sean?
I think so. We might have to cover it a little bit.
Sorry, you
later.
threw that one at me without my being able to look it up, so I had to go off the top of my head.
Hey, did you Google how many nut jobs called in last night and said aliens?
I did not.
You didn't check
Shall
that
I
out?
Google that?
I don't know. Anyway. As most of the people no doubt noticed, given that they were robbed of an hour of sleep, it's time to kill daylight savings time. They're calling for it, Nathan. People want it dead, buddy.
Death to the daylight saving time.
That's stupid. It's stupid. They should really... Anyway, Sunday marked...
No, man, you never had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and milk a goat.
Go milk a goat.
It's,
That's your lifestyle.
if you are a farmer, you need that extra time. And like it or not, farmers are what keep this country moving.
Yes, and it's not anyone else, like truck drivers or...
Well, sure they do, truck drivers and everybody else. But the truck drivers have to have something to deliver. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, since the time that people started raising their food, rather than hunting and gathering it, it has been the responsibility of the farmer to feed the masses.
Oh.
And why do we think it's right that they should have to rotate around our schedules when they're the ones keeping us all alive?
Well, I believe we can reboot that statement by saying, why should we adjust our lives to cope with the farmers? The Amish get up early in the morning. Why can't you guys get out of bed?
Sure they get up in the morning. You ever try and milk a cow in the dark?
Yes, absolutely. Buy some
Well,
lights.
I don't want to know about what you do for a fun Friday night.
Yeah.
But you don't milk cows in the dark. You don't... These people have lives too, Sean, and the day is short enough as it is. They have to get up in time to do all this farm work.
Yeah, that's
They
good.
need the light more than you do.
That's terrific. Congratulations, farmers. Anyway, your time's back. Anyway, in North America, for morning people, daylight savings is a drag, depriving them of an hour of tranquil morning light. But for others, spring forward brings with it the promise of long, long afternoons in warmer weather. I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference to me. What's 1 hour? You know? I work nights. When you work nights, nobody cares. It's just like, I sleep during the day anyhow. So, whatever.
I Googled it, Sean. It doesn't appear that anyone called in an alien abduction last night and reported lost time.
I don't believe that. Hey, did you hear about this garbage man? He was sentenced to 30 days in jail for picking up trash too early. Yeah, I swear. This was recent too, man. Maybe
Was he disturbing the poor farmer's sleep?
Well, see, this poor guy got in trouble. Perhaps it was because the hour it rolled forward on him and he wasn't paying attention. I don't know. Well, this is garbage. A sanitation worker in an Atlanta suburb has been sentenced to 30 days in jail for working too early. Kevin McGill, Shadow Nation, had been working for only a few months for a company contracted to do sanitation work in Sandy Springs when he was cited for picking up trash just after 5 a.m. one morning. That's crazy. Got 30 days in jail. I'm sure there was a fine, but he chose not to pay it.
Well, you would think the company would have paid it.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Apparently they're not union.
You know, Sean, most of us aren't union.
Well, you should be. I can't remedy. Nobody's perfect, you know. Anyway, did I tell you when I was, a while back when I was leading the picket front, the rich guy that pulled up in his BMW almost hit the car in front of him going, "Unions are the problem," as he pulled away in his business suit and his brand new BMW. Unions are the problem.
They're his problem. They keep taking money out of his pocket.
Right. My kids can't go to Harvard. They had to go to Yale. Or vice versa. Anyway, I don't know. So, anyway, Nathan, Shadow Nation, you know what time it is?
I don't know what time it is. What time is it, Sean?
Tonight's guest.
Tonight's guest.
Here it is, buddy. You're ready for it. It's a good one. We love it. Author, journalist, a TV personality, and the ex head of the British Ministry of Defense, defenses the UFO files. Tonight, Nick Pope stops by to talk about all things UFO and alien related. And we hear, Shadow Nation, that he has some exclusive breaking news about UFOs. If you don't know what exclusive means, it means it can only be heard here tonight on your mystifying Oracle of Radio, your Ghost Man and Demon Hunter show.
I don't think you're giving our listeners enough credit, Sean.
Who would have thought we would have the ex-head of the British Ministry of Defense on our show? Our little humble show.
It's a wonder.
It is a wonder. Anyway, guys, Nick Pope stops by. If you don't know about this cat, search his name and everything. I think he's got 15 pages dedicated to him. Anyway, Nick Pope. What a great guy. Wasn't he a great guy?
He's a nice guy. I loved getting the chance to talk to him. I can't wait to interview him tonight.
I know. That's going to be a good one. We talked to him earlier this week just to say hi and check out the phone lines and everything. And, he actually put our link up on his page. I figured some of his people would be coming over tonight. I don't think you guys know how to get in chat. Nathan, make this clear to him how to do it. There's 2 chats on our front page, guys.
There are. You can... basically, when you go to the Ghost Man and Demon Hunter page and listen live, if you're already a member of Ustream, you can listen, watch, and chat right there from our page. However, if you're not already a member of Ustream, you can click on that little blue note right beneath it that tells you to click here to go to Ustream, and there you'll see the chat on the side. And on one side, it says Social Stream. On the other, it says chat. Well, if you start posting in the social stream, it's just going to go back and post on your Facebook page. So I recommend you click on the chat section. Head over there and start giving everybody your insights on what we're talking about, because we don't know what we're talking about. Maybe you do.
Hot dog!
Jethro doesn't know what he's talking about.
Hey, Sean, did you hear that Harrison Ford crashed?
Oh, man, I seen that. It was horrible to hear about that. I actually was lucky enough to get to speak to the co-pilot of the plane. You did?
Yeah, here.
Oh, Chewy's coming through hot. I like it. That's better. Chewy!
Yeah, there we go.
Was Chewy okay?
Chewie was fine. Harrison Ford did sustain some injuries. However, he is in stable condition.
That's good. Is he still in the hospital? They release him?
I've up until yesterday when I spoke to Chewie, he was still in the hospital. But he might be out of the hospital now.
Chewie was seen last night leaving Harrison Ford's home, where his wife said she was pleased.
Yes, and Chewbacca was pleased as well. He went on to say...
That was too short. You got to let it play out.
Well, that was all he said, John.
Oh, God.
He did later on. He did later on make a comment of that there, but that was about it.
Chewie rages.
Yes, he does.
He rages. Hey, next week here at Demon Hunter in Indianapolis, Indiana, Comic-Con comes to town.
Comic-Con in Indianapolis?
It's in Indianapolis.
All I ever get to do is go to that tiny little one in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Good grief.
It's so terrible out there in New York. So you've been. I've never been to a Comic-Con.
Oh, you've never been to Comic-Con?
Well, I know
right.
We've worked a lot of events, horror-related and paranormal, but we've never got a chance to work Comic-Con or anything like that.
The last time I went with some of our friends, one of which was Frank Todaro, who also does a show, The Invisible World, over with our friends on Paranormal A. Paranormal A? Paranormal A?
Our
What Paranormal A?
Canuck.
But, yes. Frank is from New York. I live in Connecticut, so he invited me down to attend Comic-Con with him.
Amazing.
And I went down, and everybody was wearing the greatest costumes. I mean, they were wearing this... Frank was wearing this awesome costume based on... I can't even remember what... he wore a different one every day.
Dr. Hughes.
I put on a Hawaiian shirt and a name tag that said, "Hello, my name is Bruce."
That's where you met Campbell at, right? Bruce Campbell?
No, I met Bruce Campbell actually... where did I meet Bruce Campbell? It was at another event.
Bar.
that was I went as Bruce Campbell
You did.
to that event, and Frank was. I don't think it was furious. He was laughing about it. But here are all these people who put days, weeks, months into putting together their costume. I walk in wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a name tag, and everybody wanted their picture with me.
Yeah, he's wearing your Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, good grief.
But you know I wear a Hawaiian shirt everywhere I go, Sean.
You do. It's very, what's his name? The actor that went crazy said, winning! Do you remember him from 3 Men and a Baby? Or Three
Oh,
Men?
he didn't wear Hawaiian shirts, though. He wore those
Three Little Men.
those Caribbean shirts.
Yeah, Three Little Men. It's something, it's embracing your old age. So you walk in with your name tag on. It says, hi, my name is Bruce. You're wearing your Hawaiian shirt. You walk up to the first stormtrooper lady you say...
I'm here for the gangbang.
And she took me to the room.
You say, get out of here! What's
I
it
was
like?
very popular that day.
What's it like to do R2-D2?
And then when I'd see people in their Firefly outfits, you know, Firefly, the television show, I just ripped off the name tag, and suddenly I was Walsh from Firefly, and I got into all those pictures too. So.
Well, I don't want to take the kids and spend a bunch of money if it's just walking around seeing the superstars that want $70 for their autograph. Is there other things there like video games and...
Well, basically what you see when you go.
Yeah.
A typical Comic-Con
the
is you
gangbang.
arrive. The hallway, the opening, everything is actually all the people who are attending and showing off their costumes.
Okay.
The cosplay outfits. That, like I said, they spend months putting these things together just for these events.
Yeah.
And some of them make a different costume for every event they go to, and they travel all over and go to all of them. But the costumes are fabulous.
Yeah, there's
Then
a whole
you-
community.
Oh, yeah. Then you go out on the floor. The floor tends to be... It used to be all comic books. Now it's a lot more... There's still a huge comic book section.
Right.
But there's a lot more of the area is dedicated to merchandise.
Okay,
If
okay.
you want to find a Star Wars figure from 1979 that you lost when you were, 5 years old,
Yeah.
this is the place to go and find it.
I don't know.
They'll have it somewhere at one of these tables.
I don't agree with that. I think that you should have more like R2-D2. Well, they do have cool stuff. I went to Gen Con one year and they had the Rancor monster in the front lobby. That was cool. He was like 12 feet tall, well, not the
Yeah.
Roman, but it was really cool.
Well, then there are also places that you can go to there that are demonstrating stuff that's coming out in the next year.
Okay.
This is where you go to see the new video games and things like that. And a lot of the time you do get to play them, but there are usually lines to get to those sections.
Well, yeah. But I'm not going to go and spend $1,000 on my kids' Star Wars. And that's the thing, it's not just getting in. It's, man, they really pop you. Well, see, next time we get our television show, you remember how I used to always say, we will not charge for autographs?
That's right.
That's going right out the window this time. These people live off of this, man. They make like $85 an autograph. Let's see, they probably make $2,500, $3,000 a day to be there, free food, free hotel, and they do, let's say you do 3 conferences a week at $3,500 a day, something like that. Let's just say $2,000 a day. They're there 2.5 days, or I'm sorry, 2 days really, because it's half day Sunday, half day Friday. So let's say $4,000. Does that sound reasonable for the weekend?
4,000. Well, I go on the cheap, so it's hard to say.
Okay, well
But-
let's say $2,000 for the weekend.
Okay.
So they do 3 cons in 1 week. 2, 4, 6. $6,000 in 1 week. Now let's add in the $50 to $60 to $70 autograph fees and pictures. And what'd you say? Mark Hamill one time wanted $100
Well,
to have a
Mark
minute.
Hamill was getting $100 an autograph, but then you got to go behind a curtain and spend 10 minutes alone with him.
Yeah, but
what
you
he,
were
what he
telling
was
me.
doing behind that curtain, I have no idea.
It was
but,
he better dance to Hello Dolly backstage for that much money. Didn't you say it was extra?
A
though?
lot of these people do go to these cons, though, and they pay for their tables to sign. They don't get paid to be there.
This is true.
So, I mean, this is a money thing for them, and I can see.
No, that's not true. They do get paid. They're not. They don't come out to the cons for free. They get hotel.
Well,
they
it
get food.
depends. There's different things. People who are making appearances get paid.
Tell me, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher didn't get paid to come out to Indianapolis Comic.
Oh, I'm sure she got something. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
But is
and
she presenting or is she just doing signatures?
I have no idea. Anyway, she's
Well, that
there.
makes a big difference.
Well, she's going to be in the upcoming Star Wars film, so I'm thinking if we called her and
she's
said, "Hey,
probably presenting.
yeah, let's tell her, come on out here, Carrie. We'll give you a hotel room at the Motel 6, and we'll take you to Waffle and Steak every, morning, afternoon, and evening, and lunch and dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we're not going to pay you to be here."
The
Yeah.
the thing though you're saying about getting those signatures, Sean, is I have to say I have no problem with if I'm renting a table or being paid to be at a table, charging that money for an autograph. But I tell you this, if a little kid walks up to me in the middle of that conference and asks for an autograph, I'm not going to tell him he's got to go wait at the table.
I wonder if the kid asks you like 50, 70 times, "Hey, can I have another autograph?"
Yeah, the same kid keeps coming up.
Starting to see a pattern here, Junior. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you selling them for $20 a pop out on the street?
Right after our show, I worked some low-budget convention. I was, grateful to be there, but it was to promote somebody else, basically, and they were just trying to fill the, they want everybody in there, because at our level, it's usually, we just started out with the show, so they want to go out there for me and you. It's to promote our show, so we get something out of it, and they paid for my lodging and, dinner. But that's a lot of trouble, Nate, these conventions we go to. I mean, people don't know what goes into that, Pack up a gear, go out there, you get autograph pictures made, and you're probably out, what would you say, $150, $200 for a small convention out of our pocket.
Oh, yeah, we used to, I can't even tell you how much we used to put out. And when I showed up, remember, I showed up with photos for us to sign because we couldn't afford the high glossies, but we got the flats. Mm-hmm. And just doing those photos on stock paper cost us a fortune, and we were giving them away.
I think I'm done with conventions for the autograph portion of it, because our show's been out of it for a while. And as far as doing the radio show, but that's a lot of trouble, man. Hey, did you know porcupines float in water?
I did not know porcupines float in water.
Well, here we go, guys. We've done this before, but there's some strange facts that I wanted to bring back to the show tonight, Nathan, and talk a little bit about it, brother. What do you think?
I would love to hear more about it. Now that I know that porcupines float in water, I think we should replace life jackets with porcupines.
It says
that'd be comfortable.
I think we should. The average, it'd keep us on our toes.
Oh.
The average lifespan of a Major League Baseball is how many pitches? Major League Baseball, how many pitches do you think a Major League pitcher can use the ball for? Pitchers. How many pitches?
I would probably go on to say maybe 10.
You were close, and that's amazing. 5 to 7 pitches for a baseball.
Yeah.
And then it's retired. That's insane.
And the amount of money they pay for those baseballs. No wonder it's so much to go to a game.
Hey,
you got to pay for baseballs.
Right, this is ridiculous. Hey, do you know the Mint, the one that prints money, makes money, stuff like that? Mm-hmm. They once considered producing donut-shaped coins.
Well, it would save money requiring less metal in the center of the coin.
I think it was more for choking hazards. So many kids were choking on them, it actually had a hole in it. That way, if they did choke, they could still...
They'd be able to breathe through it.
That's it.
How would you perform the Heimlich then?
I don't know. Heimlich. The only 15-letter word that can be spelled without repeating a letter is uncopyrightable.
Uncopyrightable?
Mm-hmm. The only 15-letter word that can be spelled without repeating a letter is uncopyrightable.
Wow. Did you know that men can read smaller print than women, but women can hear better?
Really?
Yes.
What'd you say?
I think men can hear just as well as women. We just pretend that we don't hear them just for the sake of it.
Hey, what was the first product to have a barcode? You know the barcodes they scan?
The first product to have a barcode? I don't know. Was it Coca-Cola?
No. Wrigley's Gum.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, do you got any more fun facts there about men and women?
Did you know that Barbie's measurements, if she were a life-size woman, would be 39, 23, 33?
That's big, right? That's healthy, yeah.
She'd be a little top-heavy.
Yes. I knew I liked those dolls.
And that Coca-Cola was originally green?
Huh.
Bet you didn't know that.
Why was it green?
I don't know.
Did you know
they produced it that way? It was originally had less of the cola coloring to it added, and its natural color added with a little bit of green made it green.
You sure that wasn't all the cocaine inside where the people were like, this is green, man.
I'm feeling green.
I'm feeling green, dude. Most lipstick contains what, Nathan?
Beeswax?
I don't know about that. But the lipstick contains fish scales, ladies of the Shadow Nation. Most lipstick contains fish scales.
I know chapstick contains beeswax. I was just going with it.
Skepticism is the longest word that alternates hands when typing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the first novel ever written with a typewriter was Tom Sawyer?
Was it really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. A lightning bolt generates temperatures 5 times hotter than those found at the sun's surface.
Well, that would explain why it melts glass or sand into glass and doesn't just melt it into nothingness.
Yeah, this is true. You never know. Demon Hunter, those are some fun. Oh, a Boeing 747 airliner holds 57,285 gallons of fuel. Huh? A car uses 1.6 ounces of gas idling for 1 minute. Half an ounce is used to start the average automobile. Didn't know that.
Really? Hey, did you know that the percentage of Africa that is wilderness is 28 and the percentage of North America that is wilderness is 38?
Oh, my goodness.
Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. In the news!
In the news!
In the news. It's so exciting. Oh, wait, that's tonight's guest. Tonight's guest, if you guys didn't catch it, Nick Pope, author, journalist, TV personality. We're going to talk aliens with exclusive breaking news about UFOs only on our show tonight. In the news! See how I did that? Covered it up.
That was really good. I like that there, Sean.
I did. Today's strange news, it's always hot, it's always fresh, it's always exciting, a little weird, strange, and goofy, and it starts right
now. Hey, for those of you who are listening to the Ghostman and Demon Hunter show for the first time and haven't heard us read the news before, you should know that Ghostman and Demon Hunter in the news is weird news. News we pull right out of the papers because we like the titles. Doesn't mean we've read them already. In fact, we probably haven't, which means we're going to make a lot of mistakes. And every time we make a mistake, you take a drink. That's right, it's the G&D drinking game. Of course, we do recommend that if you are driving in your car listening to this show, don't play the G&D drinking game. You're going to get in trouble. And if you're planning on doing anything important this evening, please listen responsibly.
Hey, I don't like this first story up to bat tonight. Is me, the Ghost Man, Sean B. I'm up to bat. Did you get that? It's me.
I got that.
The Ghost
up
Man.
to bat. Me up to bat.
We're getting good at this news thing. Ringling Brothers Circus to phase out Elephant X.
I know. Isn't that horrible?
Did you want this story or did you want me to?
I was actually bringing that one up, but you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't
No,
want
I closed it already. I'm on to the next one.
Oh, you suck. The Huffington Post, thanks James Gherkin, the guy that wrote this. This came out March 5th, guys, was the date they released this article. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, one of the United States' most famous circus companies, will eliminate elephants from its shows in the coming years. The Associated Press reported Thursday, Feld, F-E-L-D, Entertainment, the parent company for the greatest show on Earth, told the AP it would phase out elephants by 2018, citing animal welfare concerns. This decision was not easy, Shadow Nation, but it is in the best interest of our company, our elephants, and our customers, CEO Kenneth Feld said in a press statement. Feld's 43 elephants, which form the largest herd in North America, will retire to a 200-acre sanctuary in Central Florida.
Oh, my.
Get some money for that one, I bet. How much, I think, do you have to pay for 43 elephants, I wonder? Huh?
Well, that's about the size of Disney's, either Disney's Animal Kingdom or what's that other big animal park they have out there? It's so I got a feeling they're not buying the elephants as much as they are probably taking the elephants off their hands, and the Ringling Brothers will probably get a big tax write-off on that one.
This is startling and tremendously exciting announcement, the Humane Society of the United States told the Huffington Post in an emailed statement. With consumers now so alert to the animal welfare issues, no business involved in any overt form of animal exploitation can survive in the long run. There you go, guys. No more elephants. You better get out there and show your kids what an elephant is. or what it looks like in the circus. Man, I'm rhyming tonight, and I didn't
You
even
can still go to the zoo, Sean.
poet and just don't know it. Yeah, you could go to the zoo, but that'll be the next step. They'll try to get rid of elephants from the zoo.
Well, Sean, there
I don't
is
know.
no such thing as a trained elephant. They are tamed elephants,
Okay.
but training would require that the animal be domesticated, and there are no domesticated elephants.
Yeah.
So it's for their own well-being that these trained elephants, not
Well,
tamed,
Drink up, guys.
elephants.
You weren't
And I
even
wasn't
reading
even reading.
You weren't even reading the story.
Are
Amazing.
transferred to somewhere where they can live out a natural, safer environment, life.
The drink
But hey,
bell.
Sean, speaking of animals, natural, safe environments,
Mm-hmm.
deer have been eating birds for years.
Hey, I want to remind everybody, when you hear this, drink up, guys. Just one means one drink. Two drink, and three means three
Get-
drinks.
Drink the bottle.
Yeah. Suck it down.
Deer have been eating birds for years. They will eat you next.
Oh.
Now, remind you folks, I haven't read this story yet, so here we go.
You messed up. Go. Drink.
Just drink now. People are wild about the idea that deer are eating birds.
Oh.
On Wednesday, IO9 wrote up a story based on a couple of reports that deer were caught engaging in omnivorous activities. The IO9 post has generated nearly 3,000. Have a drink, folks. 3,000.
You didn't.
2 drinks. 339,000.
Pause. Too long a pause for
traffic
radio.
flames at the time of its writing,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
Okay.
Other publications followed the IO9 lead,
Yeah.
but the reports are several years old.
Okay.
We've known about deers. We've known about deers. We've known about deer,
Yeah.
horrifying families with their
She likes your story. She's drinking too much.
predatory actions for
Too long.
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's getting drunk when I read the news.
Too long a
The
pause.
real news, and by real news we mean completely made up claims, is that deer will soon grow tired of eating birds and move on to us.
Right.
Hey, I got everything right in that one.
Yeah, you did.
And so stop with the bell. You're going to confuse people.
Okay.
It will be the deer version when plants got upset with humanity and started killing us.
You said
I don't get that one at all.
Is that American?
It will
English?
be the deer version of when plants got upset and humanity started killing us.
Oh.
I don't know what they mean. For those of you thinking we can kill our way out of the predicament, please put your hunting devices away. They don't even say shotguns anymore, Sean.
No, they don't.
Please put your hunting devices away. It's too late. Our collective fate is sealed. There is a certain claim that have a drink washes over you when a certain calm when you washes over you when you accept your doom. Don't fight it. Let it bring you peace. All right, now that everybody is
Snockered.
satisfactorily have a drink. Satisfactorily, rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby
Rubber
buggy
baby buggy
bumpers.
bumper.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Oh, it's
Now
terrible.
that everybody is sufficiently drunk,
Yeah.
Sean, why don't you take the next story?
I will. I was reading the headline at the top of this net. Lies, all lies. Sex male escort service built on bed of lies. I just seen that.
Oh, that interests you?
Yeah, it says great breaking
You're
news.
looking for a
from
male
England.
escort, are you, Sean?
Man who tried to have sex with mailbox found dead.
Okay.
You're stunned by it. You're speechless. Anyway, I think we covered that story. If we didn't, we should have. That's the kind of late breaking news we cover here on your G&D show, guys. This comes out of our friends, comes from
I
our
wonder if
friends.
that story has anything to do with this story that's marijuana is officially legal in Alaska.
And Washington, D.C., our nation's capital.
Well, we've known they were stoned for years.
This is true. An English man who admitted he tried to have sex with a mailbox, he admitted it, guys, was found dead on Sunday. Maybe he died of splinters.
Sometimes no just means no.
The mailbox got it. Last month, Paul Bennett, 45, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of indecent exposure and using threatening and abusive words with abusive behavior. Bennett was found dead behind the Shanghai Palace. Oh, I messed it up. Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yeah, you're not calling me on them.
I don't have a bell.
That's true. Shanghai. All these years, you couldn't buy a bell?
I didn't think of it.
Like $5. Remember I used to have the horn, the bike horn? And went,
Oh, that's right. I should get the bike horn.
Yeah, you should. Bring it back, Nathan.
Yes.
Old is better. Bennett was found dead behind the Shanghai Palace Chinese restaurant in Wigan, Greater Manchester on Sunday.
Have a drink.
Yeah, drink up, guys. The Wigan... Drink up, guys. Observer reported on this, guys. Police are investigating the cause of death, but they do not think it was suspicious, according to him. According to the Observer, the plea stemmed from a September 9th, 2014 incident in which Bennett attempted to have sex with a mailbox in a public area. Witness told the court they saw Bennett pull down his pants in a shopping arcade and start to publicly perform a sexual act on himself in public. Prosecuting attorney Kate Beattie, not sure about that, so drink, guys, said Bennett then walked over to the post box and started to make sexual advances towards it. According to
baby.
Mirror. Hey,
You're looking
baby.
good.
I like your slot. Can you say that? Mail slot? Mail call! Anyway, that was according to the Mirror Times, guys, wherever that's at. Thanks, guys, for having sex with Mailbox. Gives us news to read.
Getting ready to post a letter.
Oh, my God, that was good. That was good. I like that.
You like that? I worked hard on that one.
Are you pulling up your next... I can't produce filler here long enough for you to continue with the...
I need another story? Really? I got another story? Okay.
We got time for another story. I got one right here queued up if you want me to.
Sure, go ahead.
Disc-shaped UFO. Figured this was fitting for tonight's guest. Disc-shaped UFO flies behind Argentina TV news, a live broadcast. Did you hear about this one?
No.
Well, of course you did. You found the news.
I don't watch the news unless
Anyway.
it's the Weather Channel.
Update, guys, on March 6th, the AUFO. No, I'm sorry. A UFO. They didn't put a space in between.
Have a drink, folks.
They drink too, guys. That was reportedly caught on videotape during a live news report in Argentina. Apparently was not a UFO. It was a hoax. Today's edition of the cable news channel Todo Noticia, 3 drinks, guys, reports that the so-called unexplained object didn't even exist. That's a bummer. While TN doesn't offer an explanation as to who was responsible for the hoax, it released this statement on the website today. The truth is that the video was edited and the UFO was added digitally. Oh my God. Did I miss that? Digitally. Here we show
Baby buggy bumper.
rubber baby bumper bumper bumper. But show you the original video without editing with the full minute from 1224, the moment in which someone wanted to fabricate a UFO on the air at Todo Noticia. That's how it says, guys, but drink anyway. Previously, something odd seems to have occurred over the weekend during a live news broadcast in Argentina. A rapidly moving disc-shaped object, this was the news story that came out first. A rapidly moving disc-shaped object appears to move across the sky behind the studio where the news anchors sit on Todo Noticia, aka TN. Why did I just say TN?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's a cable news channel, guys, based out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. That's a bummer, but hey, do you think maybe it's a cover-up?
You think so?
Yeah, it could be. Think about it. Everybody be flooding the station for news reports and everything else.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, if people aren't drunk enough,
Yeah.
scan reveals hidden mummy inside Buddha statue.
Oh my God, I heard something about this.
Researchers examining a nearly 1,000-year-old statue of Buddha on display in Holland discovered something very unusual hidden inside.
Okay.
The mummy of a meditating monk.
How do they know he was still meditating?
Well, he was in meditation position.
Okay.
Calling the mummy the oldest patient ever,
Pause.
the Medea Medical Center
Mm-hmm.
in the Dutch city of Amersfoort. You would think I'm Dutch, I would get that one,
Yeah.
right? I know it's Amers. I don't know what the Ferd, I guess.
Ferdy.
Used a CT scanner to take images of the body inside the statue
Yeah.
and an endoscope
Yeah.
to examine the thermic and
Pause. Pause.
and the well, we'll just say cavity.
Okay. Cavity.
Abdomen cavity.
Misuse of the word. Making up words. Drink, guys.
The mummy is believed to be of the Ling Kuai, a Buddhist monk who died in China around 1100 AD. During a examination, the researchers found that the mummy's internal organs had apparently been removed and the space filled with paper scraps.
Oh.
And the papers were of ancient Chinese characters.
Ancient
The
Chinese
hospital said
secret,
the
huh?
news would be released.
You ruined it. Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Hey, the statue was on display as part of the Mummy's Life Beyond Death exhibition at the Dents Museum in the Netherlands last year, and this is one of the first times it has ever been let out of China.
You're dense.
So
That was a good story. That was a good
Drents.
story.
I'm sorry, they can have a drink. But that's it for the news, Sean.
That is. We're going to put a cap on that, guys. But you know
People
what?
are too drunk by now. They won't know what's going on next.
You know what time it is.
What time is it, Sean?
You guys hear the music. It's time for another Ghostman and Demon Hunter Show original series. That means we made that, if you don't know what an original is. Where each week, Nathan and myself scour? I'm going to go ahead and drink up again, guys. I'm going to... What are you trying to hit? You trying to hit your chair over there or something?
I'm trying to find something that rings.
You need a cowbell.
Wait, I've got 2 bottles here.
Do it. That'd been great if it had shattered on you. Anyway, guys, each week we scour the United States and the world. We try to bring you the latest and greatest in legends, UFO sightings, Bigfoot sightings, you name it. Monsters in general and general creepiness and weirdness in our series Legend X. Tonight's Legend X is...
The giant brain space monsters of Palos Verdes.
You messed that up. Giant space brains of Palos Verdes,
Verdes?
California.
So I said one thing backwards.
You did! You said it backwards.
Hey, Sean, this comes to us from AmericanMonsters.com, and why don't you take it?
You want me to do this?
Yeah!
This is your thing, but okay, we'll do this. Guys, this week's Legend X takes us to the mainland of the Pacific. Rancho Palos Verdes. Welcome to it, guys. Like Nathan was saying, the giant space brains of Palos Verdes, guys. This bizarre case involves the abduction of a young man by a pair of large blue brain-shaped beasts. Say that real fast.
Rubber baby buggy bumper.
Blue brain, a large blue brain-shaped beast. Large blue brain-shaped... See, I can't do it. Large blue brain-shaped...
News is over, folks. Stop drinking.
Stop drinking, listeners of the Shadow Nation, which he and a friend claimed were blocking the desolate stretch of road in front of his car. In the dead of night on August 17th, 1971, a pair of Palos Verdes natives, Peter Rodriguez and John Hodges, both of whom were in their late 20s, claimed to have came across 2 ostensibly, I don't even know about that one, yeah, drink up, alien creatures that were quite unlike anything else recorded in the annals, you know
you
what I
love that word,
I
go
do.
ahead.
Annals of ufology or cryptozoology. According to their account, at approximately 2 a.m., the duo left home, the home of a mutual friend who lived on a nearby Doppelgray Lane. That's what it says, Doppelgray. At which point they climbed into Hodges' car. Hodges started the engine, flicked on the headlights, and was about to drive off when the men simultaneously noticed a pair of what can only be described as huge disembodied brains lying about 6 feet in front of them, in the middle of the road.
Were they purple?
I don't know, it didn't say. It just said brains. Perhaps the story is off here. They said purple, but the eyewitness accounts, I think they added that for effect. Rodriguez and Hodges later asserted that the brains were bluish. I should have read this story first. The brains were bluish in color and were shrouded by a strange localized vapor. Perhaps the smoking man was out there, our good friend. William Davis from the X-Files. I don't know. They described one of the creatures as being approximately the size of an overgrown softball, while the second one had the dimensions of a human torso and the most startlingly, seemed to have red eyes, like organ wedges into the center of its frontal lobe. It's a lot of specifics about a overgrown softball-shaped. Yeah. Rodriguez and Hodges' puzzled demeanor quickly gave way to fear, and within moments, they sped away from the bizarre beings. The men lived in the same neighborhood as their friends, so the journey was a brief one, they said. Hodges first dropped off Rodriguez and then made his way home. Once he arrived at his house, he noticed, much to his consternation. Sorry about that.
Consternation. You were right the first time.
Consternation. Well, you're so intelligent with your big brain. Is it blue? The time was 4:30 a.m., Shadow Nation. This was a journey that Hodges had made many times in the past, and for the life of him, he could not figure out how a 10-minute trip had turned into a 2-hour odyssey.
Maybe it was daylight savings time.
I don't know. It says he would find out soon enough, though. Anyone familiar with cases of alien abductions will surely be aware of the phenomena known as missing time. Yeah, we talked about that tonight. Alleged abductees claim that missing time often occurs following an extraordinary sighting of lights in the sky, UFO landings, or, in the case of Hodges, blue brains in the street.
Well, it sounds to me like that brain was just out walking his little brain dog and trying to show off and get some attention. Maybe he was looking for a little head.
And he found brains! Hey, in 76, after 5 long years of wrestling with the memory of the blue brains and wondering about what happened, it sounds like a street gang, like West Side Story. Hey man, why you on our turf? This is the blue brains. Then they snap their finger. Yeah. Snap into a musical.
When you're a brain from the... Sorry.
Feed me Seymour! I was thinking more like that. Hodges finally decided to undergo hypnotic regression in the hopes of uncovering, Nathan, what had happened to him after he...
We all know how well that goes.
Yeah, he had separated from Rodriguez on that fateful night. This method is controversial, of course. It's employed by many psychologists to help recover memories that are otherwise buried deep in the psyche. What did he find here? It doesn't say. It says he recalled while under hypnosis. What he recalled was that the larger brain had spoken to him telepathically.
Of course it did.
On Dapple Gray Lane, stating, "Take the time to understand yourselves. The time draws near when you shall need to. You shall not remember this incident until we meet again." Well, for a big brain, you were sure wrong.
Yes.
He used aggression therapy. Apparently, the brains hadn't figured that out yet.
No, that was not on their pay scale.
Anyway, guys, that is the G&D show in the news.
Hey, Sean, just a quick note this week in history.
Oh, this week in history. Hold on 1 second, Nathan, because I got this super groovy, cool whole thing loaded up. Here we go, guys. This week in history. Take it away, brother.
That's right, folks. You may remember that this country, all countries, this world, this universe, has a past.
Oh, my God.
And let's talk about what happened this week in history.
Let's do that.
We can only go back as far as recorded history, Sean, because let's face it, if it was left to us to make it up, we'd come up with some really interesting stories.
It'd be a lot more interesting. Caveman invented fire today, guys.
Hey, Sean, in 1917, the February Revolution started. Don't ask me why it started on March 8th.
The revolution of what? Just the revolution of February?
The Russian February Revolution.
February was like, hey, we want to be free from the months in the calendar.
Let me go.
Yeah.
You've kept me shorter than everyone else too long.
I'm for a free February, of course.
Riots broke out. The security of food was erupted. But basically what happened was it was the end of Nicholas II's reign over Russia.
How did they get rid of him?
What's that?
How'd they get rid of him?
Well, have you never watched Anastasia, the cartoon?
No. No. I'm a grown man who pays tax.
By 1917, most of Russia had lost faith in their leadership's ability, and the government was corrupt.
Oh.
And with most of the government was corrupt anyway. So the people of Russia began the February Revolution, And it started March 8th, 1917. Talking about automobiles, Sean.
Yeah.
You're a car fan.
I am a car fan.
The VW bus, the iconic symbol of the counterculture movement, went on production
Yeah.
on this day, 1950.
Oh my God! Was that what Scooby and the gang?
It was made to look like a VW bus, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Hey, on this day in 1993, MTV's highest-rated series premiered.
Okay.
That series, Beavis and Butthead.
Had to do it. Had to do it.
Uh,
I had nothing queued up either.
and in the,
Yes.
you know, that going back to that February Revolution, Sean, that had a big deal to do with our World War I as well.
Okay.
So, but hey, speaking of Russia, in 1983, President Ronald Reagan, on this day in history, referred to the USSR as the evil empire.
Back in the USSR. Yeah.
You don't know how evil you are.
Yeah. Evil.
That's not how the song went, I don't think.
I don't know. Should have went.
But hey, all that happened just on this day in history, March 8th, 2015, and passed.
That was amazing.
Amazing!
That was amazing. You hear the music, guys? It's time for another Ghostman and Demon Hunter Show original series, Rot Talk.
Rot Talk!
Where each week, guys, we tell about past, present episodes of that show we all know and love, The Walking Dead. We're going to talk about what we think is going to happen tonight, guys. What happened last week on the Hunt or Be Hunted, The Walking Dead mid-season. What do you call that? The mid-season episodes?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a finale, so...
How many episodes do we have left? Is it 2 or 3?
It didn't say. I was looking all over for that.
Well, I know the last, they're making a big deal. The last episode of this season is going to be 2 hours long.
About time. I mean, I just get into the show when I start, when it's over. I mean,
I know.
Isn't that what people say about us?
It leaves you wanting. But if you think about it, it's genius by Nicotero and all the guys that have written and produced and worked on this show, because they leave America, most of America, wanting more.
And that's right, folks. So as we go on, remember, spoiler alert, Sean and I will be discussing things that have happened and what we think will happen. So if you're not up to date on your Walking Dead, this is the time to stick your fingers in your ears and go la 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 la,
La, la, la.
because nothing's going to stop us from talking Walking Dead on Rot Talk.
Right Talk. Okay, guys, last week, as we know, Crazy Rick has now shaved and got his hair cut by a pretty lady, where I don't think her husband's too hot on
Too
that.
thrilled about that?
I don't think
I
he's
think
thrilled.
that was Pete.
Was it Pete?
I got a feeling that's Pete.
He's the surgeon, because he looked like a drunken hillbilly on a
He
front
really did, didn't he? But that would really instigate the tension between Rick and Pete that we know is coming. We know it's coming, Sean.
It is coming.
And remember, Pete from the comic books, an abusive man to his wife and child, who feels that since he has such necessary skills, he can pretty much get away with whatever he wants. But that might be a little issue now that Rick has become the constable.
Yes.
What do you think, Sean?
Well, they're staying alert, though, brother. They're staying alert. They asked Rick on the front porch, so you're a cop again. He said, I'm going to try this thing out. It might be a little, foolishness, tomfoolery, giving everybody, positions, work positions, positions of authority to see what they can get from them or to kind of fill them out. So Rick just said, hey, we'll lay low, see what happens, and if they get crazy, we'll just take the place.
You notice that the one person they know they can't control,
yes,
which is Daryl, has not been given a position.
Daryl was wanting to kick that one guy's teeth out that one time.
I thought he was gonna too. Yeah, it's interesting too, Sean, when you think about it. What you were saying about Rick saying if these people can't handle it, we'll just take the place.
Right.
What would they do? I mean, that looks like a pretty big place. I think they would have to. They couldn't just kick everybody out.
No, but
they'd have to take control. And now you're facing a situation where you're trying to control everybody.
Right.
And as we've noticed, do you remember her name, the woman in charge?
I don't, but she's the ex-congresswoman.
The congresswoman. I honestly see this as a typical congressperson's technique in trying to run this place, because as you know, Congress people do not make decisions.
Yeah,
They set up committees.
this is true.
They monitor and they report.
Yeah.
And then they vote. So this woman, though she's a congresswoman, not really used to taking charge.
Yes.
So she's controlling people by trying to give them what they want, which is the technique of most people in political situations.
this is true. Give them something small to keep them occupied.
And I think that she is trying to befriend Rick as basically being her enforcer, the strong arm that can keep the place intact. And I think this might come back to Pete, because Pete, obviously a surgeon, important, thinks he can do whatever he wants. She needs a strong arm to be able to take him on.
No, I think so. And that one woman that the hairstylist that cut Rick's hair, now she's a pretty hot lady. And you got to remember, Grimes hasn't had a woman's touch, if you will, since Lori's passed away. And I think there's going to be a lot of temptation there. I think we might see some smoochy, huggy, late night couch stuff. But we know what's coming. I think they're going to start. 2-minute warning here. I think what we're going to start seeing, Shadow Nation, tonight is more of the surgeon. What's his name? Pete?
Pete.
And we're going to start seeing those other two guys, the enforcers that are there. They don't take kindly to people stepping on their toes. I think the congresswoman that's trying to keep the place together, when she told Sasha, she said, I'm going to give you this, but I want something in return. I think what you said earlier, she's going to ask them to help with Pete. I think he's got something. He's got the place locked down, and it's the illusion of her being in control. I think some stuff's going on under the table, and tonight we're going to find out what that stuff is, and it's going to start breaking loose.
Look at who she picked to be the constable and the deputy, Rick and Michonne, the two powerful members of the group that she could communicate with, leaving out Daryl, because again, she's already facing a situation where she has somebody in there she can't control.
That's it. And I don't think they're going to take too kindly to Rick being the constable. He's going
Diana. Nitro Jill in the chat room reminded us that Diana is the... Who's Diana?
Diana.
You remember that from 2 weeks ago? Who's Diana?
Who's Diana? Thank you, Nitro Jill. She's always faithful part of the Shadow Nation there. You know?
Yeah.
Demon Hunter, it is that time.
It's that time when we have to make that phone call, Sean.
We got to make the phone call. Got to get the guest on the line. Tonight's guest.
Dun, dun, dun.
Author, journalist, and TV personality. The ex-head of the British Ministry of Defense, the UFO Files. Tonight, Nick Pope stops by to talk about all things UFO and alien-related, guys. We also hear he has some exclusive, late-breaking news in the ufology community regarding the Rendlesham Forest case. You guys might remember that one because it's a huge mystery. They've been fighting that for years, trying to get some stuff for the guys involved. We're going to find out tonight. Nick said only with our listeners. He's going to reveal this tonight. So you want to stay tuned.
He's going to reveal it first with our listeners.
Yes, he's going to reveal it first. We asked him. We said, come on, don't tell nobody. He said, I won't even tell you guys until tonight. So we're excited about that, guys. Tonight, during the break, we're going to play Vince Mira. That's the name of the band. That's the name of the artist, in fact. The name of the song, I'm Going Back Home. That's the live version. Demon Hunter, Shadow Nation, we'll be right back.
Yes, I'm leaving now, I'm going home. I don't like it here anymore. I've had enough of all your cries and moans. I don't work for you, no, I'm going back home. Well, hold me down, don't you let me go. I'm awaiting that whistle blow. I've had way too long since you've been gone. I can't wait to hear the sound of those tracks on the ground. I can hear her call me all night and day. Almost time till I see my pay. It's been way too long since you've been gone. But it's okay, don't stray, I'm on my way. Yes, my guitar cries, well, the night arrives. Winter comes at the worst of times. But no bad weather winds are gonna keep me in. I got my mind set on go, try to stop me, here I go. Tell your friends, my dear, that your daddy's here. Tell the doctor to jump and cheer. Let them know down the road that the man is near. Keep your eyes open wide, let them know I'm alive.
This is Marilyn Roach, author of Six Women of Salem, and you're listening to the Ghost Man and Demon Hunter Show.
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only mystifying oracle of radio. Tonight's guest. Some people call him the real-life Fox Mulder of the X-Files. He's an author, journalist, and TV personality that was the head of the British Ministry of Defence's UFO project. Today he's known as one of the world's leading experts on UFOs. He says the truth really is out there. Shadow Nation, help the big man himself, Mr. Nick Pope, to the third chair. Nick, what's going on, my friend?
Hi, very interesting times. Great to be on the show.
Amazing times. The ufology community is on its ear. You're globe-trekking. What's been going on lately?
Oh, lots and lots of big stories. We've had former presidential chief of staff John Podesta make a comment about UFOs that really made mainstream media headlines all around the world. We've had the Chilean government teaming up with the French to take a look at this from a serious investigative point of view. And we've had new breaking news on the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident, probably the world's best-known UFO case after Roswell.
Now, when did this happen, Nick? I haven't seen anything on this.
Okay, well, the Rendlesham story has just broken. Essentially, what happened is, for many years, some of the witnesses believed that they had health problems attributable to having encountered the UFO in Rendlesham Forest.
Right.
And I mean, most well-known of those is John Burroughs, who has had heart problems that he thinks was caused by radiation from the UFO.
He was the Air Force witness, yeah.
Well, he's been in dispute with the Department for Veterans Affairs for a number of years over this, and just literally a couple of weeks ago, they settled with him in full, and the reason they settled is that John Burroughs was able to point them to a British government document that said, yes, these UFO witnesses were probably irradiated by whatever it was they encountered in Rendlesham Forest.
Wow, and that just happened the last couple weeks?
It happened in the last couple of weeks, and literally today, it has hit the mainstream media. The Daily Mirror in the United Kingdom has just run the story, and I mean, this is really exciting. Literally, news breaking as we speak.
And we have Mr. Pope on the line. Hey, that's a red letter day for any radio host. I'll tell you that much.
Well, it's always good to have a scoop.
Yeah, it is. Nathan?
Well, Nick, I've got a couple things I just want to throw out here. You know, typically anything supernatural, the first thing I come out with is I'm skeptical. But the only thing I'm more skeptical about is working with the government. And you've been thrown into both packages there. How have you, it's been said, you've said that when you started, you were a skeptic. How has this really affected your work?
Well, it has been something of a tightrope walk. I worked for the British government for 21 years at the Ministry of Defence, 3 years of that were on the UFO project, an awful lot of years on other things that I can't talk about to this day. And yeah, it's an inherently secretive organization, an inherently secretive lifestyle that I had to live. And even to this day, I can only really talk about things that have been declassified. Otherwise, I guess they'd come knocking on the door.
So you never get up on stage during one of those hypnosis shows in Vegas. Is that it?
I try to steer clear of that sort of thing.
Now, Nick, I tell you, you're a current events type of guy, and we are living in the now. And with this information you just broke, you shattered my questions here that I've worked for a week on. And, you know, I want to touch a little bit on them, because you did work with the MOD. And Ministry of Defense in British Ministry of Defense. You worked there. You worked on the UFO projects. Not only did you have access to these top secret UFO projects, but what about the other ones? The Ghost, monsters, crop circles. What other types of files do you have? And does the government really keep files on ghosts and things like that?
Yes, they do, but really more by accident than design. What happened was, the moment we started investigating UFOs, and that went back to the 1950s and some of my predecessors, but you can't look at UFOs and word gets out that you have a UFO project without finding yourself on the receiving end for all these other things. Now, the ghost stories actually came from within government and within the military. And what we found was that our own military personnel, for example, were reporting sightings that they'd had on bases.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this, I guess, is not surprising if you believe, as many do, that ghosts are kind of either sentient spirits of the departed or some kind of echo. When there's a traumatic and sudden death, it stands to reason that military bases would be where you would find these ones, particularly ones that were, say, bombed in the Second World War. And we had sightings all the time from our own people.
Yeah.
Brings a whole new meaning to skeletons in your closet, huh?
Absolutely. And you know, we had the building, even the building in which I worked, Ministry of Defense main building, very modern, kind of Stalin-esque kind of structure on Whitehall in the heart of London, but it was built on the site of the old Whitehall Palace, and down in the basement is the old wine cellar dating back to the days of Henry VIII. And we used to have the security guards, who were some pretty tough people. Most of them were retired military. You know, they would tell us about figures that they'd seen, shadowy figures literally walking through the walls down there, and some of them were quite shaken up by it.
Oh, wow.
Now, you said that the British government UFO project, and you still have these secrets that you have to keep, but, you know, there's a obvious British UFO project. That's more than our government tells us. Is the British government more open with people about UFOs and aliens?
I think it is a little more open, yes. Having said that, I mean, of course, the American government had for many years Project Blue Book, and although people allege that it was just a smokescreen and that it was a public relations office to hide a deeper and more secretive project, there's no getting away from the fact that the U.S. Air Force did research and investigate this for many years. So I don't know whether Britain is much more secret than America. In many ways, I think British policy follows American policy on this. I mean, even down to the forms that we used to record the sightings when we were first contacted, it was based on the old American forms. So kind of maybe we were hand in glove.
Makes you wonder if there's one world power out there handing out these forms.
Yeah, I tell you, Nick, after all these years of following your work, which we've supported on this show for 9 years, and all the things you've done, I've always wanted to ask you when we got you on the show, do you ever just stop 1 second when you come back to the United States and go, my God, these citizens are behind the times? Because you're working, I'm going through the list of all the countries that are on board about disclosure. And the ones that you're working with, Chile and other ones, to try to help them to find out what's going on over there. Do you ever come back and just go, oh, my God, why don't you just say it already to the American government?
Well, I guess I'm an honored guest in your country. I've actually lived here for 3 years now, so I don't want to start lecturing America and the government on what they should or shouldn't do.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
I think the position of the British government is fairly well known on this. In a sense, we looked at UFOs for many years. We didn't have a spaceship hidden away in an Air Force hangar somewhere, or if they did, they didn't tell me. And our position basically was something's going on, but we don't know. Now, whether the American government knows more, or whether the great secret is maybe even the Americans don't know, and of course no government likes to say, we don't know what this stuff is.
Right.
I mean, that's another possibility with all this. People think that government is covering up the fact that they know the answers. What if they're covering up the fact that they haven't got a clue?
You're right. Now, getting back to the whole ghost and the paranormal type of topics that we cover on this show, and what you've said that, the British government had files on, not just UFOs, but ghosts and crop circles and cattle mutilations. But wonder if they are linked. Wonder if they're not different categories, but wonder if they are linked, because some people have said, and I want to get your feelings on this, your thoughts, that they link demonic activity with these aliens. And that kind of threw me off, because here we go, they came out with that movie, fictitious type movie about the fourth kind, Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, where you were...
the fourth kind, where they
were abducted.
they recreated documented reports.
Yeah, which was kind of proven to be false, I think. But I wanted to reach out to you and ask you. A lot of those people that have been in that type of situation are now saying that it's demonic. But after I researched it, the people that are saying that have usually been approached by some type of converted MUFON religious type person. What do you think?
Well, I don't want to get all biblical on you, but of course in the Bible, in Ephesians,
right,
there is that phrase where it says Satan is prince of the power of the air. Now, I think that's been a hook for some people in this subject for many years to say, well, maybe we are dealing with something demonic. I'm not so sure, but I think one interesting thing is to look at the close encounter reports. Look at the people who claim not just to have seen UFO, but to have encountered extraterrestrials, been abducted by aliens even. Well, if you see a menacing, shadowy figure at the foot of the bed, some people may say, well, it's aliens and they're being abducted. Other people might say it is a demon. I mean, maybe we are dealing with the same core phenomenon, but interpreted in different ways according to the cultural background and belief system of the witness.
Nick, Sean and I were saying last week, after looking up some of these UFO abductee reports, that they should make another movie and call it 50 Shades of Greys.
Very good. I think you should. Well, there's no copyright on title, but you should register that if you can before someone else does.
Starring Nick Pope. Yeah, that'd be good. I'd sign on. Hey, I tell you, Nick, getting back to the Rendlesham Forest incident, because that was Britain's Area 51. Oh, I'm sorry, New Mexico.
Britain's Roswell, basically.
Just my mind's flying here. It was Britain's Roswell. You've researched this. Everybody knows you are about as close to an expert on this case because you've had, contact with these top secret files. And what you just said today about Mr. Burroughs that worked in the U.S. Air Force, the eyewitness, him, Jim Peniston, Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, they all were at the landing site. They've seen this. Is this a classic government cover-up? You have the British come in with the U.S., even at your top level security level, you couldn't find some of the details on this case. How does that happen?
Well, there's always a debate about where the line is between conspiracy and bureaucracy. But, this is an absolutely extraordinary case. And, I think what you say quite correctly, it is called Britain's Roswell. In some ways, the evidence is stronger. We've got government documents, the authenticity of which is not denied. They're actually at the National Archives and on the Ministry of Defense website saying this thing landed, saying that it was metallic, saying, it even gives the levels of radioactivity that were recorded. And now we've got this other formally classified document that says, the witnesses were probably exposed to unusually high levels of radioactivity by this thing. A UFO case does not get much better than this, and it doesn't surprise me that now the mainstream media has seized on this story of John Burroughs getting his settlement from the VA.
Yeah. Now, when are they going to release this information, or is it going to end up in the tabloids like Sun Times and stuff like that, or are they going to take this case serious, you think?
Well, I'm just literally, I'm not exaggerating, probably about 3 minutes before I came onto this interview, the story came up on my news alert. British UFO encounter gave me heart failure, says USM, and after military chiefs agree to pay his medical bills.
Right.
Now, obviously that's the Mirror, so that's a kind of fairly populist take on this. But now, whether we're going to get the big American news outlets,
right.
the Times, the Post, ABC, CBS, whatever, taking a look at this now, I don't know. I hope so.
I watched you sit at the table with Stephen Greer, Stephen Bassett, and Timothy Good at the Citizens Hearing on Disclosure. And you told it, or Timothy Good, Mr. Good, told an ex-congresswoman that he suffered from this and that he was trying to get funds from the military, get the military to take care of it. And I seen her say, well, that's interesting, and just kind of move along. Does that ever get frustrating? I know it does for Mr. Good. It has to. But for you, I mean, to be in such a serious position is what you came from. And to know what you've known when you approach the people, do they ever just kind of blow you off and say, well, thanks, Nick. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll look into it. And you just want to grab them and say, listen to me. I mean,
yeah, politicians are in a difficult position. And maybe we can come on to talk about John Podesta again in a minute. But,
yes.
at the citizens' hearing on disclosure, that was interesting because while publicly people are maybe a little bit reluctant to bite the bullet on this issue too much, privately, 6 of the former congressional representatives who were involved in the citizens' hearing actually felt so strongly about the Rendlesham Forest incident and John Burroughs and Jim Penniston's search for justice that they wrote a letter to the President of the United States about this. And in fact, I teamed up with John Burroughs and Jim Penniston, and we wrote a book called Encounter in Rendlesham Forest. Mm-hmm. And that letter from the congressional representatives to the President of the United States is on page 297 of that book. So sometimes, thank goodness, politicians are prepared to follow up on this, are prepared to stand up and be counted, and are prepared to raise this subject at the very highest level.
Yeah, I agree. In 2008, there was a documentary that you were in, and you and your friend, author Timothy Good, it was called Lies and Deception, UFOs and Secret Agenda. He stated in that Roswell was, in fact, and I'm paraphrasing here, part of an ongoing battle between military forces and UFOs. He went on to say that those cases resulted in Roswell, the downed craft that we've known today. He also stated he's not saying all the UFOs are hostile, but he said that was the result of Roswell, that we shot that UFO down. If that's true, how are we covering up these open-air dogfights between our military and UFO? And did that, in fact, happen that way, you think?
Well, I think Tim may be, I don't know, going a bridge too far with this. Right. I mean, you could characterize the UFO situation as almost a war of nerves, but whether it's an out-and-out shooting war, as I think Tim and some of his colleagues would have us believe, I'm not quite so sure about that. Now, there's no getting away from the fact that there have been many cases where UFOs have been seen on radar, where military jets have been scrambled and where they've been sent up to take a look. And there's a couple of cases, absolutely, where pilots have either attempted to open fire or have actually opened fire. But whether this is absolute all-out war in our skies, war of the worlds, I don't think so. And of course, I hope not. It's a war we could never hope to win.
Exactly. I agree.
Now, Nick, when we had Stanton Friedman on the show, one of the things I discussed with him, it was, Sean and I were interested in the fact that what if we're not being visited? What if the Earth is quarantined? Because let's face it, the human race is pretty much a virus, and when a virus uses up its host, it wants to spread to another one. What if, every time people are being abducted, what that really is kind of like a blood test, a sample to see what's going on with us? A lot of people think that we're being visited to find out when we're ready for contact. What if everything that's happened is just the aliens trying to keep us on our planet till we burn ourselves out?
Well, I don't know whether they'll have to try too hard or whether we're going to kind of self-destruct anyway. I hope not. But yeah, there's no getting away from the fact that the modern UFO phenomenon really dates from pretty much almost as soon as we detonated the first atomic bombs and then developed the first space rockets. So yeah, did that put us on somebody else's radar? Is there a kind of, I hate to use this phrase, but I mean a sort of galactic federation that polices emerging civilizations and takes a view on whether they are or are not intellectually, technologically, spiritually, whatever, mature enough to go out into the cosmos? I don't know, but it's an intriguing and perhaps quite disturbing thought, given some of the things that we do to our fellow human beings, the animals, the planet itself.
Right. Now, in 2002, you had mentioned this earlier, President Clinton's chief of staff at that time, he came out, John Podesta, and says it's time to open the books on questions that have remained in the dark, on the questions of government investigations, of UFOs. It's time to find out what the truth really is. We ought to do it because it's right. We ought to do it because, frankly, the American people can handle the truth, and we ought to do it because it's the law. And then, of course, here recently, February 15th, the senior advisor to President Obama now, Mr. John Podesta, tweeted, "Finally, my biggest failure of 2014 was not securing the disclosure of the UFO files." What do you think of that, Mr. Pope?
Well, it's an absolute bombshell. I actually met John Podesta a few years ago, and he is undoubtedly interested in this subject. Yeah. Now, I think you could make a case and say, well, maybe he's just kind of using this subject to make a wider point about open government and freedom of information. But, politicians at that level, and he's a very, very smart guy, they kind of tend not to do anything just by accident. So I think maybe this is a shot across the bows. We still don't know what role he's going to play in the longer term. Is Hillary Clinton going to run? Is he going to manage that campaign? Is she going to be the next president? Is the UFO issue finally going to even be an election issue? I don't know. Probably not, but it's something that has to be considered.
See, Sean and I have been arguing on this topic because I personally believe that he has a little bit of information in there, and he knows everybody wants to know a secret, and he's just using this to bump up his opportunity to run with the next race.
It could be. On the other hand, you have to only look back to see how Dennis Kucinich, when it was revealed that he had seen a UFO at Shirley MacLaine's property, and that really kind of torpedoed his presidential campaign a few years ago. Yeah, so you've only got to look at that to see how bad news this subject can be. So in a sense, it's slightly surprising he would mention it, because it is so taboo with the mainstream media. But maybe that's changing. Of course, just a couple of weeks ago, we had the AAAS meeting in San Jose, and we had the scientific community starting talking about, is it time to try to make contact with extraterrestrial civilizations that might be out there?
Right. Now, you've been quoted, Nick. You've been quoted in an article as saying aliens will reveal themselves no later than 2024, that they might even land on the White House lawn. What do you think about it? What's your thoughts?
Well, I picked that date. People always ask me, do you think we're building up to something? I mean, you've only got to look at the number of mainstream media stories about whether it's exoplanets or whether it's the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, radio astronomy initiative, or whether it's UFOs. There's a ramping up of media stories on this. It's almost like it's only a matter of time. So I kind of had to to come out and put my money where my mouth was and pick a date. I picked 2024 because that is the date when the largest radio telescope ever constructed is going to be fully operational, the square kilometer array. Mm-hmm. It is going to be powerful enough to pick up something the size of an airport radar at distances of 50 light years. So in other words, if there are other civilizations out there at a level equivalent to or beyond our own, we will have the science to find them. And at that point, the cat's out of the bag. This won't be something that can be hidden. So that's why I went for 2024. I hope it happens sooner.
Right. I know some people predicted that 2014 would be full disclosure, that it would happen. Of course, that's come and gone now. We're in 2015. So we're on borrowed time, at least. Hopefully it'll be any day now, You know it's out there. Somebody knows, and everybody's just waiting to hear this news. But, can we handle it? There was a survey done a few years back that basically pointed to the infrastructure breakdown of the world if we come out, our administrative people, our military or government comes out and says, yes, we are not alone in the universe. It's going to be mass chaos. We can't handle it. What do you think, Nick?
Well, I went to a couple of Royal Society discussion meetings about this back in 2010, and actually people were quite optimistic about this. And short of there being some kind of War of the Worlds alien invasion, something like Independence Day, something like that, actually the government just coming out and saying, okay, yeah, there's extraterrestrial life out there, and some of it's smart, like us, wouldn't pose a problem. And the reason they say, scientists say, it would not pose a problem is they've actually, it's common sense in a sense. A lot of people already believe this, and you don't shock people by telling them something they already believe. So if the government comes around and says, yeah, this is all real, people won't go, oh no, this is terrible. They'll go, yeah, told you so.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of preparing us, like you said before. And with the list of all the countries that are online now saying that they're going to start their own MJ-12, if you will, or citizens hearing on disclosure, these things are popping up all over the place. So I think it's just going to follow suit and that this is going to happen. I mean, how much longer can people just close a blind eye to the fact that we are not alone? I mean, how long can we keep up this illusion in the United States government, do you think?
I don't know, and it is interesting. I mean, yeah, I've just come back about a week ago from Chile, and I was there for about a week, and I got to meet some ex-Air Force people, and the Chilean government takes, I think, a very mature view about this. They look at UFOs, actually, the way they do it is they look at it kind of from an air safety point of view, because they say there are indisputably things in our skies that we can't explain. And they look at it from a scientific point of view, and they've just teamed up with the French government, and there's an initiative on this. Down in South America, more generally, there's a lot of openness about this. Brazil, Argentina, Peru, countries like that. Many, many countries, as you say, have opened their UFO files. The UK government, I've been involved in that process myself, of course, having worked on the files. French government, New Zealand, Norway, countries all around the world. There is huge public and media interest in this, and certainly in open societies and democratic countries, there is a real pressure for this from grassroots upwards to say, hey, we can handle this. It's about time. The people have a right to know, and that, of course, as you pointed out, is exactly what John Podesta said.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, I tell you, Nick, 1950s, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, they said he met with the alien race, that there was a treaty here on Earth. I want to believe that. The retired military eyewitnesses that they had to this event, I want to believe them. I've heard the evidence. I've watched the videos on it. I've tried to look in their eyes. Why would the aliens just meet with the United States, though? Why not Britain? I mean, Britain is a huge force in the world. Did you ever speak to anybody at your security level and just kind of look at them and go, uh-huh. When you ask them, did anything like this happen here ever? And one of the old timers, and said, no, Nick, absolutely not. Did you ever have your questions about them, some people?
Oh, I asked around, absolutely. I don't know whether the Eisenhower story is true.
True.
I've heard it from a number of sources, but I've never absolutely been able to verify it. And I certainly don't believe that anything like that has happened in the UK. I mean, of course, it's an interesting time. Britain, at the beginning of the 20th century, was arguably the main world power. But Britain was severely weakened in the First World War and very much in the Second World War. And actually, of course, the end of the Second World War, and particularly the American development of the atomic bomb, even though the UK, we got the bomb too, but there had been a clear geopolitical shift, and the United States and the Soviet Union had really displaced Britain as the preeminent world power. So, I don't know. If we were contacted, maybe our time had passed. I hate to say that as a Brit, but there you go.
All right. They might have went over us.
I just wanted to ask, whenever you see a movie regarding, aliens landing or somebody's come in contact, they always refer to, like, the UN has a plan where, what's going to happen, who takes charge, that kind of stuff in the event of an alien, any kind of contact with aliens on a global level. Is there any plan like that in the government that says that if contact is made, this is what we're going to do?
Not really. The United Nations, curiously enough, does have an Office for Outer Space Affairs, but and I actually spoke to the astrophysicist who runs that, and she said, well, we don't have a kind of alien invasion war plan, but inevitably people probably would look to the UN for some sort of leadership on this if it ever really got totally declared out in the open, because people, as you said earlier, this is not a purely national issue. These reports, these sightings come in from all around the world. Many different governments and air forces have studied this. So no one nation can say this is our issue. I mean, it is truly a global phenomenon and an issue for the whole world. So maybe people would look to the United Nations to take some form of leadership with this question.
It's crazy. The CDC has a plan if zombies attack, and the UN doesn't have a plan if aliens come. Jeez.
Well, maybe they do. And the other point is of course, joking aside, the potential biological hazard that, whether it's deliberate or just through inadvertent contact, is a critical issue. So actually, maybe some of the bioterrorism plans would have to be adapted if we ever actually had the archetypal landing on the White House lawn.
I tell you, Nick, we were talking about, are we, in fact, ready to know that we are not alone in the universe? The world's population, are we ready? And after doing my homework and following you and your career for years and seeing the comments that, we've been on air for years. We get comments, you get comments, you get negative people, you get positive people, you get people that sit on the fence. But people have called you demonic. They've said that you are the inside, you've been too high with this top secret information, that you were sent here, you're a mole, that you're telling us all this disinformation to scatter it out. I think that it's going to be our own distrust that's going to eliminate us from being able to know the truth. I mean, after seeing these people just bash you, Dr. Greer, Bassett, and of course you have large numbers that far outweigh that say you guys are amazing, like Nathan and I. But what do you think about that? I mean, how do you deal with the bad press and people like that?
Well, I can't run away from my past. I mean, I don't, it's no secret that I worked for the government for 21 years, and I can't kind of change that. So in a sense, I know that's going to make me the bad guy with some people, and I accept that. I mean, in a sense, because I can't change that, I just have to kind of say, well, okay, I'm inevitably going to be cast as I don't know, some sort of real-life man in black by some people. And if that's what they want to believe, then I guess not only I say no denial is going to make them say, oh, okay, then that's all right. So I just have to ride with that one.
You know, you brought up a good topic, Men in Black. People always say, you know, they've said too much, the Men in Black come and say, stop, or we take your family and your farm away. Now, at the level that you were at, and I know there's some things you still can't talk about, do you ever get close to topics and maybe get an uneasy feeling? Somebody extra watching you in the crowd in the third row, kind of giving you the stink eye?
I don't, but then I don't see myself as a whistleblower. I see myself as somebody who comments on this in the media from the perspective of having been on the inside, but I know where the line is.
Right.
And I think it's no different from, I don't know, a former CIA director talking about, I don't know, spying on the Russians or something. They know what they can say, they know what they can't say. I think all of us who have been in that position have a very, very clear idea of what's classified and what isn't. We err on the side of caution. I mean, yeah, from time to time you get whistleblowers, but like I say, I'm not a whistleblower. I'm just somebody who hopefully is giving an informed comment on this, having done it not from the outside looking in, but from the inside looking out. So it's a different perspective. But I'm very careful, and I'm not about to break my secrecy oath, because I know that there would be a knock on the door, just as when somebody like Edward Snowden discloses classified information. Whatever you think about that, people do. Obviously, the legal system, the criminal justice system, does come down on people like that, like a ton of bricks.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it's when we had Stephen Bassett on the show, he was saying that, we asked him, do you think your phones are tapped? And he said, I certainly hope so. I mean, otherwise I'm not on the right track here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose I see his point.
You know, I know we're running short on time, Nick, and we got to get you back on because we love you, brother, and we've supported you for years. I just want to ask you something in closing real quick, and I know this is a heck of a topic to leave off on, but I didn't want to harp on it. But the mysterious deaths surrounding the ufology community for years now. This is nothing new. Phil Snyder, of course, he was a self-taught geologist, claimed to have worked for the CIA and different military compounds building DUMBs, deep underground military bases. He, in fact, said, and of course Ron Rummel, that was found stripped naked in a park days before he released his new book that was supposedly going to tell the true meaning of the Star Wars project. No doubt there's mysterious cases. And no doubt, as Stephen Bassett said on the show before, there's so many, the ufology community has gotten so big. How could you say, there's not a mysterious death? A bunch of people die of all kinds of stuff. But these two cases, especially Phil Snyder, working with the deep underground military bases, he came out, you maybe even met him while out lecturing. He had medals he believed were off of, down craft from New Mexico in Roswell. His father, all these things, his father was in the military, all the things he said he could back up. He said he got into the fight out at Dulce, New Mexico, the Air Force Base. What do you think? He said we're looking to the skies when they're right here under our feet. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not a great believer that was murder. And I mean, I tell you why. I think that if that sort of thing ever does happen, and I have no knowledge that it does, all you end up doing is making the person a martyr,
right,
and drawing much more attention to them than would otherwise have been the case. I mean, I don't think I ever met him, but I'm aware of him on the circuit. I don't think he was so huge a figure almost until after his death. So in a sense, it's a very inept government plot that kind of almost ends up giving publicity to the one person who arguably, if you believe that, they were trying to silence. Mm-hmm. So I think if you look at any kind of group of people, whether it's people in the UFO field, whether it's people in religion, in science, you're always going to find a bunch of people dying. That's what people do. And you're always going to find maybe some things that look suspicious, but I don't think they necessarily are.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, do you have any more questions for Nick? I know you do, but
well, I just I was enjoying listening to this one, Sean. But I wanted to just say, Nick, that your comment that it wasn't murder, probably not murder, and they're not hiding underneath to us. As a Mason, I'm authorized to say that our subterranean reptilian underlords are very happy you said that.
Good.
But they...
you and Nick are on the same team.
Our listeners love to come out and see people talking about this stuff. Where can they come to see you? What books might you have come out in the works that people can read? Where can they find you, Nick?
Okay, my website is nickpope.net. My latest book, Encounter in Rendlesham Forest, just came out in paperback this week. And my next public appearance is, I believe, at Contact in the Desert, the big extravaganza at Joshua Tree in California. So just Google Contact in the Desert, and people can meet up with myself and with other people ranging from Edgar Mitchell and Stanton Friedman through to Richard Dolan, Eric von Daniken. It's going to be great fun, and that's the last weekend in May, Contact in the Desert.
And can they find links to all these things at nickpope.com?
Nickpope.net.
Nickpope.net, so it's nickpope.net.
That's the one, yes, and there's information on the book and on Contact in the Desert in the latest news section. So nickpope.net is probably the first place to go.
Nick, where do we go from here? With the citizens' hearings disclosure, there's so many people, as I am, frustrated that they can't do enough. They can't do anything. They're setting, of course, we broadcast, try to get the message out, but like you're out there fighting the good fight for the truth's out there. We're trying to find it. What can we do? I mean, what's next?
Well, I think it's going to take political will to move this forward. And yeah, this subject does tend to be pretty toxic, and a lot of politicians are very wary of even touching it. But maybe John Podesta, with his comments a few weeks ago, has shown that it is possible to make a comment like that about UFOs, about secrecy on the issue, and kind of get away with it. I mean, the media have not really kind of responded to him and attacked him as if he's gone completely stark raving mad. And I think that's a very important watershed. And maybe what John Podesta just did will show other politicians, hey, wait a minute, maybe we can touch this issue. Maybe we can take it up as a kind of cause célèbre and say this is actually a question of open government, freedom of information, and the people's right to know. And in a sense, that's a good thing for a politician, I would have thought, to want to attach him or herself to.
Right.
So maybe that's the way forward. Maybe it will take, history shows, whether it's a Rosa Parks or a Martin Luther King or a William Wilberforce or an Emily Pankhurst, whoever it is, sometimes a single charismatic individual can make a difference. And maybe, this field needs someone like that. Or maybe it needs a Woodward and a Bernstein, somebody in the media, to say, let's forget all this silly season treatment. Let's do this properly. So however it comes, I think it's going to be people that end up taking this forward.
Who's going to be the one that takes that first step and takes the ridicule and takes the abuse for being the person out there saying all this stuff? But
maybe, just maybe, ends up changing history and winning the Nobel Prize or something like that. So there's high stakes.
Well, I definitely believe the truth is out there, Nick. And with you on the front lines, I believe we're one step closer to finding it. So thank you so much. Could you stay on the line while we close out the show?
Sure.
Nathan, what do you say we pay the bills?
I think we have to.
Absolutely.
And what a shame it is because, man, I didn't even get to my questions. Darn it.
We'll
have Nick back. That's all.
Busy. Anyway, special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher Smart Radio, Planet Paranormal, Action Audio Apps. Hey, are you listening? They want to know, so check them out at actionaudioapps.com. Midnight Syndicate, Creative Commons, and Free Music Archives. Thanks for the tunes. From the haunted back roads of America, this has been another exclusive G&D Show interview. Don't go changing America. You know we won't. Demon Hunter.
Because we love you.
Night, guys.